Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Williams Fitness back again with another video. So, this weekend, these competitions are flying by. It's the Vancouver Pro 2019. So, it's starting obviously July 13th, finishing on the 14th. Just want to cover who's there, who's doing what, who's competing in what category, who made it, who hasn't made it, and blah-de-blah-de-blah. So, I'm quickly going to try and cover Men's Open because there is obviously some athletes that I do like, some that I don't, but what I really want to touch on is mainly the 2-1-2, and I'll get to that and that reason. So obviously from the list you can see obviously who's there out of the 18/19 competitors. I am well aware that Nathan Diasha is going. He's not posted on the list. I don't know how long ago this list was created, but he is going. So my predictions for this is, obviously I don't want to read out every name. I can trust that all my subscribers can read by now. So obviously you can pick out your favourites from there. My personal favourites, and I'd say top three maybe, would be, I strongly got Nathan Diasha winning this show. He has just recently won the British Grand Prix where he went up against the likes of Zach King Kong, and his comeback, even though Zach only signed up for the show a few weeks out and he was already in a diet prep for just a photo shoot, nothing special, he still turned up, did his bit, and it was absolutely amazing. So number one I've got for the Men's Open, I've obviously got Nathan Diasha. He's my boy, he's UK, do you know what I mean? Obviously I'm going to represent, but still. Then I've got between, and now I say between very loosely, I've got for second place, I've got between Lucas and Quentin. Now, the only reason I'm saying this is Lucas is very, very hit and miss. He sometimes turns up to the Olympia very dialed in or an Arnold Classic, and he looks really grainy, and he ranks up slightly higher. He's always between a 6th and an 8th place for me. He never quite brings anything extra each year. He just always maintains what he's got, which is cool. He's still getting on stage. He's still representing himself, his country. He just doesn't bring enough. And the only reason I'm pairing him with Quentin is Quentin Raya is very, very fresh on the scene. And I'm not trying to take anything away. He's obviously been doing this for a very, very long time. I think I've briefly spoke to Quentin a few months ago. I'm not quite sure. But he's an up-and-coming. He is an up-and-coming, and I'm sure he would appreciate me saying he is an up-and-coming, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him. It's just muscle maturity for me. Quentin does look fantastic. He's got great muscle belly, striations. He does bring a really good package. For me, it's just, what can Lucas bring on the day? Would Quentin tip him and get second, maybe third place? And another person I do want to shout out for this show is Quincy. Now, Quincy Winkler, as you've probably guessed, is related to Rolly Winkler. He's the younger and obviously smaller brother of Rolly Winkler. I don't think even if you were Rolly's older brother, you'd ever be his bigger older brother. Quincy's been on the scene for a while in the background. He really has. He was at the New York Pro not long ago, and he's really coming into his own. He really is coming into his own. He's one to watch. But what I don't want people to do is compare him to his brother. They're a completely different kettle of fish. They might have the same sort of genetics, but I'll never see Quincy ever getting to the size and mass monster that Rolly is. Rolly is in a league of his own, without a doubt. Nobody mass to height even comes slightly close that's, still alive even. So let's just judge Quincy on his own merits. He's got there from his own ability, his own skill, his own genetics. Let's just try and not compare him to his brother. Let's just let him have his time and shine. But that's my prediction. I think Quincy will do really well. I'm hoping he gets a top 5 finish. It's what he needs and what he deserves. And that's what I think about that. So I really want to skip straight to the 2-1-2. That's actually what I really, really want to talk about. Mainly because there's a name on there that you will probably all have been waiting to hear for quite some time now. And that's Hadi Choopan. Now, Hadi Choopan is probably very closely understated as probably a 2-1-2 world champion over Flex Lewis. Yeah, I said that, over Flex Lewis. Now, the only reason I'm saying this is I think they've only ever gone head to head. I think it was like Japan or somewhere, a couple of years ago, and he can't get to the Olympia. Now, this isn't because he can't afford a flight, or he's not a fan of Vegas, or it's nothing to do with that. It's because basically Donald Trump is an arsehole. Yes, for all my American supporters, if you're pro-Trump, for this, I have to disagree. For this, he's been an arsehole on. There is a flight ban situation. I'm not going to go into it and delve into politics, but Hadi is not allowed to fly to the States. Canada, however, is not a part of America. Yes, it's part of the continent North America. It's not part of the United States of America. So he has got, obviously, a visa to go over and to compete. My only worry is he's got no one to compete against. And I say that, and hand on heart, I mean, if you look at the list, and I'll read the list out, he's got Steve Bethnan, Prince Boabang, Mehdi, and Zayn. I think his main competition, and it isn't competition, I'm really sorry, Zayn, is Zayn. I do love Zayn's physique because he's very grainy and he can really dry out, and he which improves his entire muscularity. But compared to the mass that Hadi puts on, it's the chalk and cheese, and I'm really sorry, Zayn. Obviously, Zayn's still got to come into his own yet anyway, and he's still got a few more years ahead of him, whereas Hadi has got that edge. I would have loved to have seen like the Flex Lewises of the world obviously being at this show, and maybe Flex just going up against him because he knows Hadi can't get to the Olympia, and that would bring more light on the Vancouver stage, and it could have been our mini 2-1-2 Olympia. What do you guys think? Do you think it's really worth Hadi's flight over there? Maybe, obviously it's a guaranteed win, and I hate to say this. I do hate to say this because obviously we all know bodybuilding is basically what people look like on the day. But if you look at who Hadi's up against, they might have pulled 4 guys out the crowd that occasionally left and gone, yep. That's it. I know that sounds a really flippant comment, and it's not fair on the other competitors there. And I do understand also that it is good for the other competitors to go against Hadi, because it's like saying a lower league going up against, Phil Heath on stage. It's amazing. Hadi needs to do this to obviously build relationships with obviously America, and hoping that maybe they can waiver something so he can go in on a work visa maybe to the Olympia, which would be ideal. But yeah, it's the 2-1-2 this year. That's what everybody's going to be talking about, just for the simple fact that there's not really, other than Hadi, there's no real big competition. And that's sometimes what I really do hate about these shows. And I will point that out. Sometimes you will get the likes of Dexter Jackson and, Brandon Curry, William Bonac turning up to these, and I'll say lower shows because they are lower shows, not in quality, just in quality of competitors. And this is what winds me up sometimes, and I do get slightly pissed off because it'll be Dexter Jackson against 10 people I've never heard of. Or, they might be up and coming, and it obviously, it helps some of the competitors to get their placement at the Olympia, and I totally understand the process. I'm not an idiot, but it'd be nice if a couple of them said, you know what, let's go head to head, me and you. Do you know what I mean? Say Brandon Curry, Sean Roden turn up at the same show. That'd be nice to see. Not Juan and fucking Nathan Diasher and act like it's a major event at New York Pro. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of you can agree. Obviously, I get why they do it, because it's more wins. I do understand placements at the Olympia. Like I say, I'm not stupid. It'd just be nice if some of them actually had some sort of competitive edge against the others, and it wasn't just, let's wait till the Olympia this year before we all start, biting at the nail and get going head to head and pose offs, etc. What do you guys think? Do you like the Vancouver Pro lineup? Personally, I will watch it. There are some people I do want to see and how far they've progressed since last year. It is a good precursor to the Olympia for a lot of these athletes. What are your thoughts on 2-1-2 and Hadi? Do you think Donald Trump should just wind his neck in and let just Hadi in? Do you think there should be an appeal process where they can put an application forward? Because Hadi would bring a lot of people to that show. it would bring a lot of people. Obviously, it will sell out anyway, but it's not just the show. The Olympia is not just the show. It's the background of people going to Vegas, and then obviously the convention itself. Obviously, Hadi can meet people at the convention, and Hadi has got a huge Muslim following, and that is brilliant for the sport. And the fact that we can't tie Hadi in with the Olympia and get the whole Muslim community that follow him involved and integrated, so to speak, and I use that very loosely, I'm not trying to be PC. Obviously, Hadi can bring basically money to Vegas, essentially, because a lot of people wouldn't be going, a lot of his fans wouldn't be going, because they can't see him, they don't get to meet him. Do you know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on that, guys? Who do you think's going to win? Are you bothered? Is it just another show before the Olympia? Comment below, guys. As you've probably seen from the last God knows how many videos I've done, I've replied to pretty much everybody, or I've liked your comment, if it was just a statement. So comment below, let's have a chat, guys. I've been me, you've been you. Peace.